What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. Hope we're all doing well. Let's talk about Monday Night Football from last night. Bit of a snooze fest. 49ers beat the Carolina Panthers 20-9. 49ers continue to play through the injuries. 8-3 almost season. Carolina drops to 6-6. They remain a half game behind Tampa in the NFC South. McCaffrey runs for 89 yards and a touchdown. George Kittle, 6 catches, 78 yards. He had a big game. Both quarterbacks struggled a lot. Bryce Young in the loss, 18 of 29, is 169-yard touchdown, 2 picks. Brock Purdy, 23 of 32, 194 yards, a touchdown, and 3 picks.
They fake it to him. Purdy down the middle, and he's picked by Horn. J.C. Horn. Panthers on 1st and goal. Young keeps. He's got a man, and he's picked by Jair Brown. It's 3rd down and 6. Purdy down the middle for Pearsall, and he's picked again by Mike Jackson. What's up? Play action. Purdy picked again. 3rd one, 2nd for Horn. And this crowd, a dead hat. 2nd down and 8. Young over the middle and intercepted by Brown for the 2nd time.
A lot of mistakes by both quarterbacks. That second one by Purdy was really bad. Even the first one was a bit of a duck. Third one was kind of a duck. And then Bryce, just the decision-making deep in the red zone like that. Has lent to run it in, and he does that. That was horrific. Throwing into double coverage again late in the game. Just both quarterbacks played really, really bad. When it comes to Brock Purdy, just 300, no, not 300, but $265 million for that. Really, I know it's the second game back from a lengthy injury, but come on, you gotta be better than that. You got Christian McCaffrey. Ricky Pearsall is a very talented receiver. First rounder last year. He's good. Juwan Jennings, Kittle. More than enough pieces to go out there and do your thing. For $265 million, gotta be better than that. And Bryce Young, he's not the guy. I saw a stat this morning. In his career against the Carolina Panthers, like against the Atlanta Falcons, rather, in 5 games, he's 4-1. He averages 226 passing yards per game, and it has 10 touchdowns against 2 interceptions. That includes a 440-something yard game and 3 touchdowns. What was that, 2 weeks ago? Or maybe last week, whatever that was. And all other games in his whole career, we're almost 3 years into this, he's 8-26. He averages, I think, 183 passing yards a game. He has 38 touchdowns against, I think, 26 interceptions or 24 interceptions. The guy's just, he's not that guy. He's not that guy. Seems like a good kid, nice guy, not a bad leader, but just doesn't have a very good arm. He's a little bit erratic, turnover machine, not a good decision maker. He's just not a franchise quarterback in this league, okay? He just isn't. And the undersized thing is one thing, but he just doesn't have it. But Niners win 20-9 on Monday Night Football. I thought that was a pathetic effort by the Carolina Panthers. You had to know. You've been a half from Tampa for a couple of weeks now. Tampa loses to the Rams, get their doors beat off. They have a ton of injuries, even with guys like Chris Godwin is now back. Bucky Irving appears to be coming back next week. Baker looks like he'll be fine. Even so, you're half game back from they're dealing with injuries. They're not playing well. You have a chance in prime time against a team that's dealing with a lot of injuries, but that's beatable-ish. Yes, they're still a good team. They're a little bit healthier. They're at home. You're playing on the road. But to come out that flat, it's just pathetic. I don't know why. Down by 8. He went for 2. I get there was a penalty, so you move it to the 1 yard line. I would have either forced it on the extra points. Now it's like you're kicking a field goal from the 1 yard line, or force it on the kickoff. Give yourself, you try and pin him deep on the kickoff. And also Bryce has to make that throw. It was a terrible throw. He just overthrew it from the 1 yard line. Just terrible, terrible, terrible. How you look that flat when you win this game, you're in sole possession of first place in the NFC South. After everything of all the bad losses you've had, how bad your passing offense has been this year, injuries you've dealt with, and you could have headed in to these last 5 6 weeks of the season, sole possession of first place in the NFC South, and now you're still a half game back. Anyways, moving on. Going to my NFL power rankings. With Thanksgiving right around the corner, I'm not going to be doing a show tomorrow. I will not be doing a show on Thanksgiving. Most likely will not be doing a show on Black Friday. I don't expect to do one. So I'm gonna try and get in as much as I can today. But NFL power ranking, we're gonna go with that now. You usually do that Wednesday or Thursday. Today I'm doing it on the Tuesday because this is the only time I'm gonna have a time to do it. So let's get started. I still have the Tennessee Titans at the 32nd spot. Not a horrible showing against Seattle. Made the game in the second half, but you're 1-10. Kim Moore looked a little bit better finally, but overall he's looked really bad. They don't have much of a running game. Tony Pollard's pretty washed. Tajay Spears isn't anything special. Have really no weapons, especially with Kevin Ridley being hurt most of the year. The offensive line is brutal. Defense is just okay. They're gonna be exhausted at this point. They already fired their coach. 0-5 since they fired Brian Callahan. Coaching change hasn't really helped much with Mike McCoy as the interim coach. It's a joke of an organization, just a talentless football team. 31st, Silva Jets. They are 2-9. Talk about Taylor started last week. He looks okay. Looked like a backup. Brees Hall was having a good game. He fumbled in the last 7 minutes of the game to cost him the game. Thankfully, John Mechie played very well. A.D. Mitchell made a couple of nice plays after a brutal showing in that first game as a Jet, which was a good sign. Defensively, I thought they played well overall. I mean, the offense scored 10 points. At some point, they're going to get tired of playing Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. At some point, that was going to happen. But just they're still terrible. I still don't trust Aaron Glenn in his game management. They're 2-9. 30th remains the New Orleans Saints. They look more like the Saints that we're used to after they you beat Carolina in Chuck's first start coming off the bye. Thought they would look a little bit less flat with coming off a bye, coming off a win. Tyler Shuck's first ever start against Carolina, who's actually a decent team this year. But in the words of Lee Corso, not so fast as they lost by 2 touchdowns to freaking Atlanta. But they're still at 30, 2-9. They're very bad. 29th is the Las Vegas Raiders. Anyone who says they're the worst team in football has a legit argument. That team is utterly brutal. They are 2-9. Pete Carroll's a horrible fit there. This is a young team that clearly is in need of a rebuild. You have a bridge quarterback in there, not a very talented roster. You bring in a 74-year-old coach with who hasn't had really much playoff success in the last decade. I love Pete Carroll, great coach, he's had a great career, but just not a fit there. You just fired Chip Kelly, the offensive coordinator. He was absolutely brutal. Greg Olson's the interim OC. This third stint as the OC with the Las Vegas Raiders. They have no weapons outside of Brock Bowers and running back Ashton Gentry. Their offensive line is maybe the worst in football. It's absolutely brutal. Got guys hurt. Their defense has got to be bottom 5 in the league. The only defenses I think that are worse than theirs is Cincy and Dallas. At this point, they may have a worse defense than Dallas with Quinn Williams, the and Trevon Diggs healthy. They cannot stop anything. Max Crosby is incredible, one of the best pass rushers in football. Everybody knows that. But other than that, there's not. I'm not sure they have one other piece on that defense that's a legitimate threat to do anything on game day. It's horrendous. They are a horrendous football team. They're comically bad. You lost by 2 touchdowns to Shador Sanders. God. 10 sacks. Look, Browns have a good defense. They have a good pass rush. Myles Garrett's a freak. I think the best defensive player in football. Every defensive player of the year was here. He should be. So he contributed, obviously, but 10 sacks? Come on. I don't care who you're facing. I don't care if it's the 85 Bears on the other side. You can't give up 10 sacks in the game. That's ridiculous. 28, I still the Browns. They're at 3-8. Look, Shore didn't play well at all. He had that one deep pass to a wide open receiver and had a screen pass behind the line of scrimmage that Dylan Sampson took the other way. Other than that, Shador's starting this coming week, even with Dylan Gabriel healthy. He probably should start the rest of the way. Dylan Gabriel isn't good. You drafted both guys. Might as well give both guys a look. I don't think Kevin Stefanski likes him. Obviously making the third string over Dylan Gabriel heading into the season. He considered making Billy Zappi the backup with a healthy Shador after they traded Joe Flacco and started Dylan Gabriel. And people have been laughing about this. In his post-game like speech to his team in the locker room, he almost forgot about Shador Sanders. He didn't play well, but it was the first Browns quarterback to win their first start ever in 26 years or 30 years. Again, I can't stand Shador. I think he's horrible, but I thought that was pretty funny. It's clearly he just doesn't like the guy, didn't want to draft him, doesn't think he's good. And probably know he's getting fired and probably doesn't care because he probably knows if he gets fired because they're like, you took the Browns to the playoffs twice and you won a playoff game. Oh, yeah, I'll hire you now. Well, one of these teams will hire him as a head coach, probably. 27 is Miami Dolphins. They've won a couple of games since they fired the GM. They're now at 4-7. They're still very bad. Two is Tua. He's not that good. He's had too many head injuries. And A-Chain and Wild are only real pieces that you have. Off the lines, defense sucks. I'd have to. Mike McDaniel's getting fired and saying they should fire him for 3 years now. We'll see what happens. 26 is New York Giants. Another blowing lead for them against Detroit. I don't mind them going for it. Up by a field goal in the last 2 minutes there on fourth and goal. You're 2-9. You have an interim coach who probably is getting fired after the season. You might as well, go for broke. You're on the road against a good team, and your defense can't get a stop. That being said, defensive coordinator Shane Bowen has been fired finally. Not sure why it took almost 2 years, but Shane Bowen is gone. I think the linebackers coach is the interim defensive coordinator. We'll see if that makes any difference. But you have Dexter Lawrence, who was not even on the field. One of the best run stoppers in the league, wasn't on the field for the big touchdown you have to Jameer Gibbs in overtime. I don't understand that. The guy's clueless, and he's gone. No one should be surprised. He was like their sixth choice. Dabo ran on Martindale out of town because they didn't get along, so no one wanted to work with him. They wanted Antonio Pierce. Obviously didn't get him. There's a couple other guys they wanted. They didn't get him. He was like their sixth choice, and it didn't work out. I think that's not that much of a surprise. No one was really courting him to be their defensive coordinator even at the time last year. So he's terrible. He's terrible. He's gone. Hopefully that means the Giants defense will, perform a little bit more to their standard. They got the Patriots coming up this week. We'll do game picks after this. But Giants come in at 26. They're a tiny bit better than their record. They've had a lot of bad luck for sure, but so many blown leads. You're at 2-10. He's inside. You've had the second pick. They're actually the first team to be officially eliminated from playoff contention. First up, you have the Dolphins at 4-7 are still in. The Giants 2-10 are out. But 25 is the Arizona Cardinals. I mean, they're bad. They're fun to watch with. Jacoby Brissett has played really well, just how bad Kyler True is, but they're 3-8. With Marvin Harrison hurt, don't have many weapons. Greg George, Michael Wilson, they're but not as much. They have no running game. Band Knight's your top back right now. All the injuries. And Trey McBride's your only true weapon. That defense isn't very good. I don't hate Jonathan Gannon. I'm feeling he might get canned. He should get one more year, but I'm feeling he's gonna get canned. But Arizona's at 3-8. You got the Washington Commanders at 24. There's injuries that depleted their team. Jane Daniels is hurt. Top receiver Terry McLaurin is hurt. You have injuries all over your defense, on your offensive line. They're 3-8. They're not good. They're done, but not because of lack of skill necessarily. Just that their whole team is hurt. Just one of those years. 23rd is the Atlanta Falcons. They're just in all their hell. They beat the Saints this past week. Cool. Congrats, I guess. You're at 4-7. Michael Penix is out for years, so you have the corpse of Kirk Cousins is now your quarterback. Drake London is nicked up. So now only true weapon is BJ Robinson, your running back. Kyle Pitts is just okay. Darnell Mooney is just okay, but defense isn't very good. Underperforming. Raheem Morris is a joke. Terry Fontenot's got to go too. They got to get rid of those two guys. I said the Falcons lost that game. Those two guys should have been fired. I honestly think they would have been, but they get the win. They're at 4-7. But they also have their first round pick. And somehow, after spending a top 10 pick on a quarterback and paying another one $180 million, they're in quarterback hell. So the Falcons are screwed. They should I just quit the league. I just quit the NFL. I'm done from just not even this last year or 3 years or since 28-3. Like freaking, they draft Michael Vick number 1 overall. The guy's an athletic freak, and he goes to jail for dog fighting. They have to obviously cut him. The year before that, freaking Dan Reeves played him in preseason. He tore his ACL. He gets fired like 3 weeks before the season. Then 28-3 happened, and then just the awfulness of the franchise after that to this year. There's a problem with the Falcons. I'd be like, you know what? Find another team. Put me in the UFL. I don't care. Or make a new league. In fact, don't make a new league. We're just done. We're just done. At 22nd out of Cincinnati Bengals, another tough loss for them. Zach Taylor is so utterly horrible. Not a head coach in this league. Obviously, no Jamar Chase. We thought Burrow was going to come back. Ends up still being Joe Flacco. That was you expected. They kept it close against New England, but just they have no offensive line. Obviously, didn't have Chase in the game, and their defense is horrible. I think they're the worst defense in football. They're horrible. They're horrible. And they oh, Burrow will come back against the Ravens on Thanksgiving. Cool. They're cooked. They're 3-8. They're done. DUN done. 21st is the Minnesota Vikings. So don't know what to say about this group. They're 4-7. They're better than their record. This is what I have to say. J.J. McCarthy flat out sucks. The guy is brutal. He's the most erratic quarterback I've ever seen. 6 touchdowns against 10 interceptions. What? Oh, don't. Oh, and he's completing, what, 52% of his passes? Can't believe the guy called him 9. It was over him. You can't call yourself 9 and be the worst quarterback in football. Come on, 9? Like, by the way, he's in the concussion protocol. Is 9 also in the protocol? Like, how does that work? Like, I'm just curious. But they have a kid that they think they drafted late that's gonna be the quarterback this week probably. He's in the concussion protocol, or they're just making that up. They just can't stand him on the field anymore. Or don't want to admit defeat, but I don't think he's playing this week. I think they're done. And like, he cannot be the quarterback this year, McCarthy. He cannot be the quarterback. The guy does not belong in the NFL. Not for nothing. There's been a lot of atrociously bad quarterbacks who were drafted high. Jamarcus Russell, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance. Remember, Trey Lance is not good as the episode. Scratch that. Zach Wilson, Jamarcus Russell, guys like that. At least their teams were really bad. They were also bad. Don't get me wrong. They're two of the biggest buffs ever. At least their teams were really bad. This dude has Justin Jefferson on his squad, and he can't get it done. Like, just throw the ball to him. And by to him, I don't mean 30 feet over his head. To him. It's not that hard. It cannot be that hard, buddy. He's absolutely terrible. At 20 about the Carolina Panthers, talking about how flat they came out this week. Bryce Young isn't it, but they can run the ball. Rico Dowdle is really good. I like Trevor Hubbard as well. That defense, they're actually pretty good. They've gotten a lot better this year. They've been a little bit inconsistent. When they're on, they're one of the better units in football. They're 6-6. They're right there in the division still. 19-5 the Dallas Cowboys. Like, offensively, they've been great. Maybe the best in football, or at least one of the best. Dak has had a good year. Devontae Williams had a resurgent year at the running back position. CB Lamb drops continue to plague him, but still a very good receiver. George Pickens has been a dog this year. Career year for him. Ferguson's a good red zone threat. Offensive line, despite them having injured, they held together nicely. And defense is getting a little bit better. Quinn Williams has been a big addition. Granted, you played the Raiders, who are a joke, and Philly's offense, as good as that team is, their offense is really struggling. We'll soon they play a real opponent. But defense has looked a little bit better these last 2 weeks. Quinn Williams has helped out a lot. 18th is the Houston Texans. They've played a lot better since that rough start. They've won 6 of their last 8 games. They're now 6-5, right there in the playoff mix. Not out of it in the AFC South. Dave Mills has done a great job filling in for injured CJ Stroud. Not sure if who's going to play this week. Don't have much of a running game with Joe Mixon hurt. I don't think he's playing the rest of the year. But Nico Collins is a great receiver. I know he's been nicked up a little bit this year too. But that defense is maybe the best in football. They are ferocious. Will Anderson's a dog. Daniel Hunter's great. That secondary with Stingley's a stud. Pitry's really good. They got that kid. I forget his name. They call him Ballhawk. He had a couple picks last week. This is a really good football team when it gets down to it. Kudos to D'Amico Ryans dealing with all the injuries, the slow start. To have them now in this race, kudos to him. He's a really good football coach. 17 out of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, enough. He's not good. Stop it. He's so inconsistent. Turnover machine, enough. Enough of the Trevor Lawrence. He might find it. He's not going to find it. $270 million waste. Yikes. Even worse than Brock Purdy. Yikes. And they're not even a bad team. They're what, 7-4? They're probably going to make the playoffs. Like, Etienne's a solid back. I know they have a lot of injuries at receiver. Hunter's hurt for the year. Brian Thomas is hurt right now. Strange's the Titans had injuries. The defense is just okay. Now, coach Liam Cohen, he's proven that he is a good football coach in this league. And 16th is the Ravens. Another win. Wasn't pretty, kind of just sneaking over the Jets. We're down at the half, but you get it done. Offense looked better in the second half. Derrick Henry had a good game. Defense stepped up. Defense has looked a lot better in recent weeks, especially now that they've gotten healthy. They're at 16-15 versus Steelers, who have fallen to a tie with the Ravens. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be fine with the wrist injury this week, but we'll see what happens. Kenneth Gainwell's taking over that backfield, but DK Metcalf's the only really true weapon. That defense is very, very overrated. They need to change, Pittsburgh. They've needed to change for a few years, but they really need to change. I love Mike Tomlin, but they need to move on. They need to move on. 14th is the Chicago Bears. Maybe the worst 8-3 team I've ever seen, but they're 8-3. Swift is very good. Rome Dude just had a great year. DJ Moore is still pretty good. Cole Kmet's a good tie end. Colson Loveland's good. Offensive line's a lot better. The defense is not very good. Obviously, missing Jalen Johnson, missing your top corner, but Ben Johnson's done a fantastic job. Might be the coach of the year. At 13 by the Chargers, look, ton of injuries. Offensive line is depleted. Their defense is depleted, but Justin Herbert's still playing really well. You're on your third back, Kalani Vidal, but Lam McConkey's been great. Quentin Johnston's had his best year of his career by far. This kid Gatson at tight end's been really good. They're hanging in there at 7-4. We'll see what the second half is, this last bunch of games looks like. I don't think they're going anywhere, but they're at 7-4. At 12, I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who continue to tumble. A lot of injuries. Still no Bucky Irving. You just got Chris Godwin back. Obviously, still no Mike Evans. Injuries on, up front on both sides of the football. I don't think Todd Bowles is a good coach. I've said this 1,000 times on this show. And Baker Mayfield gets hurt. Can we Todd Bowles, from already nursing an injury, had him throwing 80-yard passes at halftime expired last week. Teddy Bridgewater played the second half. I think he'll be okay. I'm hearing he's not too bad, but they better hope so. Without him, they are cooked because Teddy Bridgewater hasn't played legit football in like 5 years. He freaking retired to go coach high school football for a year. They fired him because he tried to help out a bunch of poor kids, and while they fired him for the high school team, and he was like, I'll be a backup again. Sure, I'll collect the paycheck playing football again. Why not? 11th of San Francisco 49ers, like a ton of injuries. Purdy is what he is, but look, they're getting healthier. They're playing better. They don't have much of a pass rush. They're last in the league in sacks. But still putting up points on offense. They're 8-4 right now. I believe they are 8-4 at the moment. Yes, they are. So they're probably going to the playoffs. They're still right there in the NFC West. But top 10, number 10 is the Indianapolis Colts. Tough loss this past week. I'm starting to think they're a pretender. I don't trust Aaron Jones in crunch time. I love Jonathan Taylor. The defense is pretty good. They have some nice weapons there. Offensive line is maybe the best in the league. I like Steichen, but you have chance to really end this dynasty. People don't realize. I don't think the Chiefs get into the playoffs here if they lose that game. You were up 29 in the fourth quarter on the road, and you took the foot off the brake. You took the foot off the gas. Keep the foot on the gas. And they didn't do it. They're still 8-3, still in first place. Ninth is the Kansas City Chiefs. Look, they're at 6-5. Look, their running game is horrid. It looked a little better last week, but overall it's horrid. Now Pacheco's hurt. But on Mahomes, made some big throws last week. He's looking a little bit better. Overall, they're good defensively. They're at 9. They're probably going to get into the playoffs, and I have this weird feeling they'll end up in the Super Bowl. I'll throw up if that happens, but I have a weird feeling that it will happen. 8th is the Buffalo Bills. Look, this is a flawed team. They're not very good defensively. I don't think McDermott's a great coach, Sean McDermott. The receiving core is very poor, especially now with Keon Coleman being benched these last 2 weeks. It's really just Khalil Shakir. Kincaid's been hurt. But Josh Allen, for the most part, has been Josh Allen, but has had a couple of rough games, and James Cook is a great running back. But they're a flawed team. They're sitting at, 8-3 right now? 7-3, 7. They're 7-4. Had a tough loss to Houston this past week in prime time. You have, 8 sacks? So I think they are in a little bit of trouble. 7th, the Denver Broncos. Look, they're 9-2. Bo Nix has been very inconsistent, but has come up clutch when it's mattered. No Dobbins hurts, but you have RJ Harvey. You drafted him in the second round. He's had a couple big games this year. See what he brings. Obviously, Courtland Sutton's a great receiver. Offensive line's really good. Defense is loaded. Hopefully, Surtain gets back soon. It's a team at home. They've been unbeatable, but they're 3-2 on the road. They haven't been as good on the road. That's where they really struggled. But 9-2, they're rolling. 6th is the Detroit Lions. Look, this team has a lot of concerns as well. Good team, but the interior offensive line isn't as strong as it's been in past years. It's causing Jared Goff to make some mistakes. Now Laporta, their tight end, is out for the year. He's a very good player. He has a lot to do with the run game. They looked great last week. He also played the Giants with Shane Bowen as the coordinator. Couldn't stop the run if they tried. And defensively, they have so many injuries in the secondary like they do every year. They're struggling on defense. So, Dan Campbell took back the play calling duties. He doesn't trust Sean Morton. So I don't expect them to do a whole lot in the playoffs. I don't know if they'll even get there. I don't know, like 6-4 or 7-4 this year. They gotta make sure they actually get into the playoffs first. The Detroit Lions, they're 7-4 on the year. They're a good team, but very, very flawed. And I don't see them having a big run this year. Top five. Number five, I have the New England Patriots. But they're 10-2. They have the easiest schedule ever. They're beating nobody, but they're getting the wins. The top defenses they played, they've looked good against. The two big games they've had against Buffalo and against Tampa. Great. Again, Buffalo is flawed. Tampa's beat up. But you beat those two teams. Drake May's looked great. Trevor Henderson's gotten hot. Diggs look really good. The offensive line's been great. Defense has played well, especially against the run. But now Will Campbell, great left tackle rookie, is going to miss probably 4 or 6 weeks. It's a tough loss, and we'll see how the O-line looks going forward. Fourth, I have a Seattle Seahawks. Look, I know 4 picks, Darnold throws against the Rams. You only beat the Titans by 6, but it's still a really good team. You're 8-3. Sam Darnold's had a good year. They have a good running with Walker and Charbonnet. JSN is just ridiculous, over 1,300 yards. Seahawks record already might break Calvin Johnson's record. Shaheed's a good player. That defense is really, really good. They're underrated. Love what Mike McDonald has done. Third, I have the Green Bay Packers. This year is so weird. Seeing the Packers at 3 kind of disgusts me. Right now, they are at 7-3-1. Offense is struggling. But Manuel stepped up last week in place of Josh Jacobs. Injuries to the receivers, but Gene Reed should be coming back soon. You have Dubes, you have Golden. You just got to use them properly. And that defense is top 5 in football. They're at 3 right now. 2 is the Eagles, but the defense is ferocious. They're outstanding. The offense is struggling. Saquon hasn't been as good. A.J. Brown obviously has a disconnect with Jalen Hurts. And the offense is really struggling. They have their down Lane Johnson, which is really hurting them. And Jalen Hurts is facing a lot more pressure. The play calling's been a bit concerning with Kevin Patullo. And Nick Sirianni, he's a joke, that guy. That guy's such a joke. But look, they're 8-3, but really bad loss to the Cowboys this past week. Number one's the Rams. They're at 9-2, best team in football. Stafford's MVP right now. 30 tutties against 2 picks. The guy's ridiculous right now. Kyle Williams is a great back. You got Puka Nacua is great. Devontae Adams is great. That might be the best receiver doing football right now. The offensive line is very good. Defensively, they're very underrated. Byron Young is great. Was it Kobe? Whatever his name is. He's really good. They're underrated defense. Chris Shula should be a head coach next year. Sean McVay, to me, is the best head coach in the entire NFL. They're at 9-2. To me, they have the full package, and they are the best team in the NFL. College football game picks. It's rivalry week. Let's go. A few games this week that may not be on my docket that I may bring up, just because a lot of games have college football playoff implications, especially with the group of 5 teams might get 2 this year because the ACC is just a train wreck. So I'll get into that when that pulls up. But number 6 Ole Miss against Mississippi State. Give me Ole Miss. Like, Mississippi State's had a rough year, just 1-6 in the SEC. But give me Ole Miss. They're very good. They're 10-1 on the year. Obviously, Lane Kiffin is, deciding where he should stay there, go to LSU, go to Florida. But give me Ole Miss. I know it's in Starkville, but they also blew a big one to Texas in Starkville. Give me Ole Miss. That's Friday at noon. Also Friday at noon, we got number 12 Utah against Kansas. Give me Utah. Kansas isn't very good. Utah's had a very good year. They're 9-2 on the year. Give me Utah. Number 4 Georgia against number 16 Georgia Tech. Give me Georgia Tech. Georgia just isn't that good. You lose to NC State and then you lose to Pitt. You get blown out by Pitt. They can't get enough stops. Give me Georgia in that game. 7:30. The Georgia game's at 3:30. 7:30. Number 2 Indiana against Purdue. Indiana by a lot. Purdue absolutely sucks. Also at 7:30. Number 3 Texas A&M against number 17 Texas. It should be a very good game. I'm gonna take A&M. Texas Archman had a big game last week, but I'm going to take the Aggies to win this game. At 9 o'clock, Arizona against number 25 Arizona State. I'll take Arizona. ASU is just ranked ahead of them, but Arizona's favored barely, but I think Arizona wins that game. Saturday, noon, Fox, the game. Number one Ohio State against number 18 Michigan. Michigan's won the last 2 years. Even last year when Ohio State was a top team, ended up winning the national championship, and Michigan was horrible. Michigan pick up the win. I think they do it again. There's no reason Ohio State should lose. None. I know it's in Ann Arbor, but they should win this game. They're undefeated. Julian Saints played really well. You have Jeremiah Smith, Cornell Tate. This is a ridiculously talented team. Michigan's got a below average passing offense with a true freshman in Bryce Underwood. But every year Ryan Day tries to beat Michigan at their style of game, at like a punishing run game, not play his style, which is very high flying. Ohio State should win this game. They're favored by 9.5. I don't care. I'm taking Michigan. Until they lose to Ohio State, I don't believe they're going to. Give me Michigan again. Yeah, number 5, Texas Tech against West Virginia. Give me Texas Tech. They're a legit contender. West Virginia flat out sucks. Give me Texas Tech. Number 13, Miami against Pitt. This in Pittsburgh where the Steelers play, their Pitt plays. I want to take Pitt Bailey. They beat G Tech by 2 touchdowns last week. Man, I want to do it. I really want to do it. The temptation is definitely there. I'm gonna do it. I'm going to take Pittsburgh to beat Miami. This seems like a game that Miami would lose. Carson Beck, they're going to need to put the ball in his hands. I'm going to take Pitt enough. I don't know why I'm doing it, but I'm going to do it. Number 23, Houston against Baylor. I'm going to take Houston. Baylor is favored in this game. They're at home, but you're never know in these Big 12 games. I think Houston is a slightly better team than Baylor. Give me the Cougars. 1 o'clock, UCF against number 11 BYU. Give me BYU. UCF is not very good. 2-6 in the Big 12. BYU is a good team. They're at 10-1. Only loss was to Texas Tech, who's the 5th best team in the country. Give me BYU. Number 7, Oregon against Washington. This is a big rivalry. I'm going to take Oregon. They're a very good team. They're playing well. They're 10-1 on the year. They'll be in the playoff. Give me them to beat Washington. LSU against number 8, Oklahoma. Give me Oklahoma. If this was in Death Valley, I think I'd be a little bit tempted, but just after you're 7-4, coach is already gone. You're too busy, thinking about how we're gonna get Lane Kiffin over here next year. Oklahoma's a good team. The offense is very inconsistent. John Mateer isn't great. But defense is really good. This will be a lower scoring game. Oklahoma comes out on top. 10.5. That's a tough line. But I think Oklahoma wins regardless. And number 14, Vanderbilt against number 20, Tennessee. I want to see Vanderbilt win. Maybe that's sneaking to the playoff, but I don't see it. I think Tennessee wins this game at home. Number 22, Missouri against Arkansas. Give me Missouri. They're not world beaters. They don't have much of an offense, but great defense. Arkansas sucks. 0-7 in the conference. Coach is already fired. Freaking, whatever his name is, Bob Petrino is somehow the coach there again. Ridiculous. But I think Missouri wins this game. Virginia Tech is number 19, Virginia. Give me Virginia. Virginia Tech isn't very good. 2-5 in the ACC. You're 2-5 in the ACC. That's bad. Coach is already gone out of base. Brought in James Franklin. Give me the Cavaliers. Iron Bowl, number 10 Alabama against Auburn. Now look, Auburn's at home. That's a great atmosphere. They got nothing to lose. They're 5-6. They're 1-6 in the SEC. Coach is already gone, which is probably a good thing for them. I'm gonna take Alabama. They're a good team. They're 9-2. I don't think Ty Simpson is very good. That's a really good team. You're great defensively. I think Alabama will come out on top. But that should be a good game. UCLA is number 15 USC. Give me USC. They're a good team. Not a great team, but a good team. UCLA, who sucks. Coach is already fired. Northwestern against 21 Illinois. Could go either way, but I'll take Illinois. They get their get back after a loss to Wisconsin last week. Not that it matters, both for two mediocre teams in the Big Ten. We got number 24 Tulane against Charlotte. Give me Tulane. Charlotte is absolutely atrocious. They're 1-10 in the American they play in the American Conference. You are utterly horrendous. Just holy moly, you're horrible. Tulane's really good. They're a legit good team. They're played by 30.5 in a American Conference game. That is crazy. Apparently, you can get tickets for $8 too. So if you live in the New Orleans area, you might be able to get cheap tickets to this game. The game might be 40-10 at the half, but you could go for $8. And then number 9, Notre Dame against Stanford. Love to Notre Dame lose, but not going to happen. Stanford sucks. Coach has already gone. Notre Dame is a good team. Give me Notre Dame. And a couple of other games that do have some implications. Let's see if there's any on here. I don't think there is. The only one that does, JMU and Coastal Carolina, is a game that is happening as well. I'm gonna take JMU in that game. They're a good team. They're a better team than Coastal Carolina. They win. Temple and North Texas is another game. Give me North Texas. I think they're just the better team. They will win that game for sure. NFL game picks. We got Thanksgiving in 2 days. 3 Thanksgiving games. Actually have a really solid slate this year. For starters, Packers and Lions at 1 o'clock in Detroit. I'm going to take the Packers. The Lions every year do this. They barely almost collapsed to the Bears last year, who were horrible. Would have if Matt Eberflus didn't have his head so far up his ass and just wasn't a joke of a head coach. Packers offense is struggling. The Lions have issues of their own. I think the Packers will be able to score a little bit more points this week because of the banged up Lions secondary. Give me the Packers to win this game. 4:30, that game's on Fox. 4:30 on CBS. Chiefs, Cowboys. Give me the Chiefs. Dallas, I don't trust you on Thanksgiving either. The Chiefs aren't great. They're 1-4 on the road. But as soon as this is like a Cowboys game to lose, that'd be such a Cowboys faction to lose this game, and I think they will. Give me the Chiefs. And the nightcap on NBC. Bengals-Ravens, AFC North matchup. Give me the Ravens. They're at home. Defense is getting a lot better. I know Joe Burrow's probably playing, but he hasn't played in 2.5 months. Like, he's gonna get killed back there. I wouldn't even put him back, to be honest. Baltimore scores a lot of points. Give me the Ravens. All right, we have a Black Friday game. Just Money Grab 101 at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Prime Video. But I don't understand that. Bears, Eagles. Give me the Eagles. It's the Bears' weak defense. Philly should be able to score some legit points. They'll get pressure on Caleb Williams. They're at home. Give me Philadelphia. They're going to bounce back after our brutal loss to Dallas last week. Sunday, 1 o'clock. So we got 49ers against the Browns. Give me the Niners. Shador, he should have time to throw, which will be helpful. But I think the Niners do win this game. I think the talent disparity will be on full display here. Jaguars, Titans. God. No one's into watching this game. But give me Jacksonville. Tennessee sucks. They really suck. Could be a trap game, I get it. He's at home. You never know with Trevor Lawrence. I think Cam Ward may progress a little bit more, but I think Jaguars do win this game. Texans, Colts. This is a big game in the AFC South. I'm going to take Houston. I'm taking a couple upsets here. I'm going to take the Houston Texans. They're playing really well. I know they haven't been around the road this year, and Colts have not lost a home game, but I'm going to take the Texans in an upset. That defense is ferocious. I think they call Daniel Jones make some mistakes. He's starting to look like the Giants Jones with a little bit more in recent weeks. I think Stroud comes back for this game. I think the Houston Texans pick up the win. Saints and Dolphins. Who scheduled that? Saints and Dolphins. Come on, bro. Ugh. I'll take the Dolphins. They're at home. Coming off a bye. They'll be well rested. The Saints are real. They should be tanking this point. And the Dolphins should be too. They kind of screwed that up since they fired the GM for some reason. But they'll pick up a win. Falcons Jets again. Who made that a game? I'm taking the Falcons. Kirk Cousins is going to cook the Jets. I can already feel it. This should be a winnable game for my Jets, especially at home. But give me the Falcons. BJ might go for 400 yards in that game. Cardinals and Buccaneers. Give me the Bucks. I think Baker plays. You're getting Bucky Irvin back. Chris Godwin's got another week under his belt. I think you'll beat the Cardinals. They can't get a whole lot of stops. The offensive line isn't very good. Give me the Bucks in that game. Rams, Panthers. Give me the Rams. Carolina's, week to week is very inconsistent. You're at 6-6, but the Rams, they're just too good. They're just too good. They're a good road team. 405, Vikings, Seahawks. Give me Seattle. I don't know who the Vikings have out there. It's going to be this other kid. If he looks any better than J.J. McCarthy should be cut on the spot. But Seattle wins. They'll get a lot of pressure on whoever's back there from Minnesota. They pick up the win. They're favored by 10.5. They probably cover. 425, Bills, Steelers. I'm going to take the Bills. Not, sold on either of these ball clubs, all these football teams. But Pittsburgh doesn't have much of a defense. Bills should be able to put up a bunch of points. Aaron Rodgers might be playing with a hurt ref. He's 41. Give me the Bills. Raiders, Chargers. Give me the Chargers. The Raiders are just a joke at this point. They should just quit the NFL. Just stop. Just stop. I know just how much the pass rush control is so hurt. But the Raiders up the line, I think a week might suck at this point. Chargers pick up a win there, especially at home. Sunday Night Football. Broncos and Commanders on the road. I'm going to take Denver. I think this will be a closer game than it seems. I know Washington's got so many injuries. Marcus Mariano's been really bad. Denver's defense. But it's in Washington. For a younger team like that, like Denver, the tougher games are game, it's prime time, on the road, coming off a bye. You don't exactly know the quarterback is. There's a slight chance Jameis plays, but I do think it'll be Mariota. So Washington keeps it close, but Denver will win. I think it was something like the New England Bengals game. That's why that game was pretty close, too. Monday Night Football, Giants, Patriots. I want the Giants. I really, really do, but I'm not going to. This feels like a trap game for New England. Again, this is a game that young teams are going to struggle. You don't know who the quarterback is going to be in prime time. Pretty lights. The Giants and Patriots obviously have history. Giants beat them twice in the Super Bowl in the 2010s. That's only the Giants really hang their hat on it, talking to Patriots fans. But I know the Patriots line is now hurt with Campbell out. They have a talented pass rush. You make the defensive point ever change, maybe that sparks something, but I think the Patriots, they're a very good football team. They're very well coached. Giants obviously aren't. They should just tank at this point anyway. Second half of the season ends today. They're 0-7 on the road and it goes to 0-8. I will take the Patriots, but I might take the Giants in the points. It's at 7.5 right now. I think this will be a close game and New England squeezes it out. Talking a little wrestling, then we'll close out the show, and that'll be it for me for the week until after Thanksgiving. Monday Night Raw started off with a Roman Reigns promo. He was interrupted by Cody Rhodes, who said, "Welcome to the team." They said, how Roman's like, went back and forth about how they don't like each other. Then CM Punk, the World Champion, came out, and he said, "Cody, who made this your team?" And Roman said, "I don't care whose team it is." Talking about, a bunch of family references. And then he said to kind of the both of them, that's how it would look much better on me. And CM Punk said, "Who are you talking about?" And Roman goes, "That's for you to figure out." So we'll see what that leads to. After that, we had last time was now tournament, Carmelo Hayes against Gunther. Gunther wins. Very good match. I would like to see Carmelo Hayes win. I was really hoping Cena puts him over to be for his last opponent, but Gunther is Gunther. He wins the match. That's probably who it's going to be. Dom Mysterio promo, it looked like John Cena was going to surprisingly interrupt him, but instead it was Wee Man, who then goes against Dom, and then Dom kicks him in the face, and then Rey Mysterio comes out and chases him away. But then he had his match with JD McDonough. Ray picked up the win. The match was just kind of okay. Then we had the Women's War Game hype. You had the heels come out. Becky Lynch cut up her own, but she's so good on the mic. She's got to be the greatest woman to ever talk. Then the faces came out. Obviously, a big pop for all of them, especially for AJ Lee. Then we had a big brawl, seeing the baby faces standing tall. Then we had last time now tournament match again. Penta and Sol Sikoa. Sol Sikoa does win. Penta gets hurt in the match. Doctor had to stop. It was not a very good scene. Really, really unfortunate. The second guy to get hurt in that tournament, Shim's also got hurt in that tournament. So hopefully Penta is okay. uh, long term. That really is a shame. Then a War Games Advantage match. It was the Usos against Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. McIntyre, Logan Paul pick up the win. Match was just kind of okay. Obviously, you had shenanigans after the match, during the match, and then obviously Brock comes out. It looked like we're going to get this huge face off, and we get like about 5 seconds before it cut to black. So that hypes the War Games match for the men this coming Saturday. And we'll talk about Survivor Series. I'm going to give you my picks. Well, preview this card. Again, not doing a show next few days before Survivor Series. It's Saturday at 6:30. You'll be in San Diego. The men's War Games match, I had the heels going over. Brock, Drew, Logan Paul, and the Division beat Cody, Roman, the Usos, and CM Punk. That team just so unstoppable. They pick up the win. This now leads to a couple of different feuds with those five faces. I think Roman and Punk are going to have a feud down the line, just the two of them. I think we will kind of resume, Jay's, inner battle with Jimmy and Roman. And, Cody's going to be looking over his shoulder for Roman Reigns. So I think this makes more sense to have the heels pick up the win. Maybe have, Brock Lesnar and War Games will be entertaining. Probably won't see him or maybe in Roman Reigns until the Royal Rumble. Then we have John Cena against Dominic Mysterio for the IC title. I think Dom wins. It makes sense. I don't know why he would take the title into his last match, Cena. Like, unless he's dropping it. If so, he'd be dropping it probably to Gunther or LA Knight. Who knows who that mystery guy's going to be to replace an injured Sheamus. So, but I didn't think he gives it back to Dom. They just wanted to make him a Grand Slam, give him a moment on his last, his last Raw, and it lost him. In front of Dom's people, I think to get it back to Dom. The Women's War Games match, I think the faces go over. AJ Lee, Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, Rhea and Io. Probably kickstarts a feud between Becky Lynch and AJ Lee. This will be Last Mention's really first big test in WWE on the main roster. And you also have a traditional 5-on-5 match, which is going to be cool. Sami Zayn, the Motor City Machine Guns, Nakamura, and Ray Fenix against the MFTs, I believe, is also on the card. I think Sami Zayn's team is going to win that match. That's all I have for you guys today. Happy Thanksgiving. Till next time, so long. Have a great day.